Is there more than one universe?
We should discuss that.
Okay, Mr. Anonymous over there. How are you?
I'm fine.
Fine?
Yeah?
Cool. So, what is multiverse? Because there's going to be a lot of people out there that don't know what it is, so... And it's pretty interesting if you don't know. So you probably should know.
It's the theory that there is more than one universe. In fact, there could be an infinite number of universes, according to quantum theory.
And what is quantum theory?
Oh yeah, good luck with that. It's...
In a nutshell, what is quantum theory?
It's the theory that explains things subatomically.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get down small enough, it ends up talking about, strings of energy,
Mm-hmm.
which are crazy as well. It really isn't explained well by anybody other than a triple PhD in physics.
That is true.
It's crazy. It allows for, like I said, infinite number of universes, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about that, every time you're going to make a decision to go right or left, you choose right, the universe begins another universe where you went left. So now there's two. And if you multiply that out, infinite number of universes. And there's an infinite number of views.
So let's take like video games for instance. Do you think while we create these video games and play them, we're actually maybe controlling someone in another universe? Do we think you made that world out of another universe?
If you take the word infinite literally, then yes. Because if you're talking about an infinite number of universes, that means every possible combination of everything actually does happen. So, if you take the word infinite seriously, then yeah.
Do you take infinite seriously?
I do.
Yes.
I do. I think the universe is something spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many there are. The one that I'm in, anyway.
So with that being said, how many dimensions do you think there is? Do you really think it's infinite, or do you think, like Alex Jones has said, there's at least 12?
Well, I guess if you talk about a universe as a dimension,
Yes.
There's another universe here and another universe over there. If you talk about that, then it's an infinite number of dimensions. And it's funny, if I remember correctly, the thing that separates one universe from another is called a brain. I think that's short for membrane, but I'm not sure about that.
So, with that being said as well, do you think Albert Einstein was all that far off?
No, Albert Einstein was right when it comes to the big stuff. The universe, the way gravity and mass and energy interplay with each other. But Einstein's theory of relativity falls apart when you start talking about the little stuff, the stuff that quantum mechanics is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hold up. So that's why they're still looking for the theory of everything. Because that will combine the two or rewrite both, I guess.
And you think that plays in with gravity as well? Like gravity is...
Absolutely. But that falls apart on the subatomic level. It's almost like gravity is irrelevant.
I've always kind of wondered why nobody for sure knows exactly what gravity is.
Well, they think they know. And using Einstein's theory of relativity on the big stuff, they can kind of map it out mathematically. But I think there's more to it, but it's not like I
Yeah,
know.
we're not that smart.
No.
So do you think in time, or who knows, even maybe now, some of the elites probably know how to do this to travel to different dimensions? What about the...
I don't know. I suppose... Ooh, this is getting into the weeds here, but I suppose when we quote-unquote die in the flesh, which makes you real, the energy, which in energy cannot be destroyed, the energy that is Adam has knowledge of the universe. Now, whether that's just this one or the one next door, I don't know.
What do you think about things like CERN? Do you know what CERN is?
Yes, I do.
There's been rumors that they've actually opened up portals to either...
They're dealing with such small things. I don't know. I think it could be dangerous, and I hope they're using safeguards to keep it from being dangerous. But they're also getting good research out of it. So, for 40 years they looked for the Higgs boson, and they just found it, a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
The Higgs boson is the particle that gives particles mass.
So when it comes to Big Bang, do you believe all that?
Well, if you think about it, my little analogy earlier about turning right or left, and if you turn right, the universe creates another you that turns left. And so that's a whole other universe now. In an instant. So if you think about it that way, it would be a big bang, I suppose. Of sorts. Starts everything off.
But if you look at it in the other point of view or angle, how can all this become of nothing, from nothing? If you have nothing, how is something going to come out of nothing to make something? Did I say that right?
Yes. Intelligent design steps in there, I think. And what people call God or Allah or whatever, it's I can't certainly define what the creator is, but
well, you don't like the word God either, so
that carries a lot of connotation. So does Allah, so does I prefer the word universe or creator.
maybe like a Bob Ross-esque. Someone painted us in.
It's very possible. Where it all started, who knows? It could be infinite. And if it's infinite, then...
Well, so they say space is infinite, so... There's no time.
Well, technically space is getting bigger.
Yes, it's expanding. True.
So, if it's infinite, that's normal. The way it should be.
So do you think within, I don't know, your lifetime and my lifetime, we discovered dimensions? Will we be able to...
I wouldn't be surprised if we already have.
Yeah, I kind of figure we have.
It's not like they're going to tell us.
No. They're talking about like sending 1 billion people to like Mars. So that... Because they say when I say they, Stephen Hawking, not really a big fan of him, but he says by the year like 2600, this planet will be so overpopulated that it's just gonna start fire.
Well, if I was going to repopulate a planet and it's 500 years in the future, hopefully we would have warp drive by then. Go someplace outside the solar system and find one that has a younger sun than ours, so keep it going. Because at some point, this sun's going to explode and Mars is not far enough away.
You think pyramids? How did they get here?
Oh, ancient aliens.
Yes, ancient aliens.
Yeah, I believe that. There's too much iconography on the walls and Punku and like 5 other places in Mexico and Central and South America, and in the pyramids, or not in the pyramids, but in ancient Egypt stuff. It just happens too much on the 3,000-year-old drawing to make me think that it wasn't that. And let's face it, if we wanted to build a pyramid today, we could, but we would struggle doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It would not be easy. It would not, it would take some probably very specialized engineering to lift those stones up at that height and put them perfectly in place. Can't even put a piece of paper.
Aren't they even aligned just right with
Yes.
the universe?
I think it more has to do with the sun cycle or something, but yeah. I think it's too interesting to just say it's not real like a lot of closed-minded people do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I mean, Google the word Pulupunku and explain to me how that was done by prehistoric man.
Stonehenge.
That could have been done by ancient man, although they say those stones are from far away, so...
And don't they weigh like tons?
Well, yeah, they're pretty big. But if you have enough people and some logs, you could probably make that happen. But it is interesting. It's interesting that there are monoliths like that all over the world. England to Easter Island.
So if we were visited by ancient aliens at one time, why have they not come back? Are we just a lost cause now as a race?
Who says they won't?
Well, if you listen to the elites.
Okay. Explain one thing to me, Mr. Doctor.
Who said that?
Twice, our government has flown things into the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And it reverberated. The first time for like 18 minutes or something like that. The second time was even longer. Now, if it was a solid thing, it'd just go thump.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason it would continue to ring harmonically is it was hollow. So we never see the other side of the moon. It's dark. Even when we flew by, it's dark. It's dark.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're just observing us. They started this experiment thousands of years ago, and we're just a soap opera. We're a zoo.
A lot of these supposed pyramids, like, where they keep some of these UFOs, like, inside of them. You ever heard of that?
No, actually, I've heard that they were energy, either absorbers or producers.
Kind of like a nuclear plant type thing?
Sort of, yeah. Because when they were built, they were white. They weren't stones. They were basically stuccoed.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been quite amazing back then.
So if we have been visited, if we are being watched, do you think these aliens are hostile?
Okay, clearly, if they've been watching us for millennia, if they had hostile intent, they would have killed us all by now. I think maybe they have done some of the things that started some of the shit in the history. You know, actually, if you look at some of the really ancient Sumerian stuff, they fought on one side or the other, depending on, I think, what they wanted to have happen, the results they were looking for, or hoping for, or something. Manipulation.
So do you believe in reptilian people? Do you think they're a form of alien? Maybe they're being sent here to
you know
observe.
If you want to talk about the infinite universe, then yeah, there's reptilian people somewhere. But I think we have been visited. We are being visited. I don't think it's ever stopped. And if they were malevolent, we'd already be dead.
So you do believe that there's aliens. Why do you think the government hides it from us? Because of mass hysteria, panic?
No,
do you think we would try to hurt them?
I take a little more jaundiced view. I think money. And they have vowed to, stay out of it and let us do our own thing. And so they'll let us do it, and then people in power do it for money. Money and power. Power, people like to control other people.
Do you think we went to the moon?
50-50. Honestly, 50-50. I believe that's something that our government would fake. Yes, I do. I would hope it's not.
I would say we have, but the one that was televised on TV was fake. I think there are aliens. We went there and we were told never to come back, otherwise we'd be...
Yeah, but we went back a number of times.
So they say.
We took a car up there.
So they say. So you think the government hides a lot of things from us?
Clearly.
Yes.
I mean, it was like, a couple years ago they admitted to Area 51. People have been looking at that since the late 40s.
Yeah. What do you think they're hiding there? Why is that so off limits?
Honestly, I think most of it is the trying out of new stuff. Like the stealth probably was like a couple years out there as they were developing and tweaking it, and and that's not something you want people to see.
Sure.
So I can see doing that. It would also be a great place to do the more nefarious things, I would call it. If we actually have craft or aliens remains, that would be where I would keep it if I was the king of the world.
Yeah. Why do you think parts of Antarctica are off limits for anyone to go to?
Yeah, I don't know. That could be any number of things. Personally, I don't buy the flat Earth thing. I think there is something unusual. I'll give you that, but I don't buy that. Perhaps Antarctica is where, the earthly base for the aliens is. If you think about it, there's nowhere else in the world where basically every country in the world is in agreement and don't argue and get along great, and there is no dispute. At the height of the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States, we got along great in Antarctica. Nobody argues about that. It was an agreement. It was like, yep. So I think that's why our governments know that we've been visited.
Or it could be another dimension, maybe?
It's possible.
Because they say under Antarctica, there's supposed to be like some tropical climate land or something.
Well, I've heard it was Atlantis. It was, all kinds of stuff. So who knows? I personally think it's the alien base.
Very interesting.
Because there's no other place on Earth where people don't argue. Everybody signed up for that treaty.
Makes you wonder.
And if it makes sense to fly over the North Pole to get to certain parts of the world, why doesn't it make sense to fly over the South Pole when you're in Australia to get to a certain part of the world? Because you can't. It's not allowed. It's no fly zone. But if it makes sense to go that way, why wouldn't it make sense to go that way?
You guys need to look into this stuff too for yourselves so you know what we're talking about. It's a bunch of stuff out there that we don't know about, or we have an idea but they won't admit. And people like Doug and myself, we're part of the woke people.
Woke.
Meaning we don't necessarily buy into everything that we're being fed or told, so develop a brain and look into it for yourself. I know we kind of went everywhere, from multiverse to moons to I don't even know where the hell we're talking about
Aliens.
now. Aliens.
You started it.
I know. But just a quick recap of what the multiverse is. It's a hypothetical set of possible universes. So
don't say how many. Could be infinite according to quantum mechanics. Could be 7.
When you dream at night, it could be what? You're visiting another universe doing something there, or your other self is. Whatever you're dreaming, it could be your other self in the other universe. That's what he's doing.
Well, you know, another topic not for today would be lucid dreaming, and
well, let's get into it.
That is fascinating.
Have you ever lucid dreamed?
Yes.
Dreamt?
Yes, I wish I could. I don't have the stick-to-itiveness to.
Was it actually dreaming, or were you like really, really, really high? Or both?
Yes.
Both?
No, it's being. To lucid dream, you have to realize you're in a dream when you're in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can really kind of direct the dream.
The important thing is not to wake out or freak out right when it happens.
Yes.
You just gotta accept it.
Yes.
I've tried to do it and it's hard because your instincts tell you to wake up. This isn't right.
Yeah. They actually have these masks that you can put on that when the sensors know that you're in REM sleep, will start blinking red lights, and in your dream they come up as like the red light is just now blinking, and that's supposed to, the red traffic light is blinking, and that's supposed to make you realize that you're in the dream, and then you can decide to cross the street.
Now, when you lucid dream, did you like see yourself coming out of your body? You're supposedly attached by this cord.
No. It only lasted for a short period of time, and I woke up.
Where did you go?
I didn't really go anywhere. It was like I became aware that I was dreaming, and was looking around. Actually, right now I can't even remember where I was, but I just started looking around, and then I woke up.
What's the other dreaming it's called? Have you ever astral projected?
Well,
I get
not that I know.
No.
It's possible.
You kind of did. Then you said you meditated once and seen yourself from the ceiling.
Oh, in the corner? That could have been a lucid dream too. That was very odd.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's kind of like the depersonalization I had when I'm awake and just leave my body.
Technically, maybe that is what it is. If that's what it feels like, it's very possible that's what it is.
But of course, you know, doctors and scientists say, oh, this is, you know, your brain playing tricks on you. Why is everyone so quick to just dismiss these things as, no, it's your brain? Why does everyone have to be right and dismiss a God, have to dismiss all this astral projection?
Almost every scientist in the world has an interest in the status quo. They don't like new theories.
Because they like to think they got it all figured out.
They might change what they have already decided, and people don't like that. So, you know, basically everybody who radically changed the way we looked at things has been ridiculed from the establishment, the scientific establishment, because that's, you know, or worse yet, religion and heresy.
It's a strange place out there.
It's a strange universe.
And nobody knows anything when it comes to the grand scheme of it all.
Well, we know little bits and pieces, but no.
It's just like
I mean,
finally
let's-
5% of
let-
the ocean, the world's ocean is discovered. You know?
Let's face it, they have the words dark energy and dark matter for... There's something there that affects gravity because they can tell by the way light travels, but there's nothing physical there, so they call it dark energy and dark matter because they have no clue what it is, and it's the biggest part of our universe. The physical part of our universe is like this table, mostly nothing.
Definitely very interesting. Hopefully you guys learned something from it. We'll definitely be doing more. I'd like to thank Doug for coming on. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
We'll get to some more deeper, heavier shit in the future.
He does us better without me.
But yeah, if you guys have anything else that you think is interesting or you want to voice your opinion on this, just let me know in the comments and I'll make either a response video to it or I'll talk to you about it in the comments. So that'll do it for today's show. Doug, thank you again.
You betcha.
Later, guys.